It's honestly been a crazy week with all the fuel hikes and public transport shutdown. Anyways, you know what time it is. It is it is time for yet another episode of WWG News, your weekly breakdown of the hottest and freshest in gaming news. And by the way, if you're not already a member on our official website, be sure to sign up over at WWG where we post our weekly news episodes, controversial takes, game reviews, and even host tournaments. So if you're a tournament organizer, be sure to check out the tournament page. And of course, if you're feeling chatty, you can comment or create a discussion topic on the forum page, or even leave a comment on what you think about today's news episode. And for our first story of the day, we can see that Projekt Red has come out saying that The Witcher 4 and Cyberpunk 2 will not repeat the mistakes that they made during the launch of Cyberpunk 2077. Now, according to them, they have basically learned from the whole disaster that was Cyberpunk 2077's launch. And honestly, it is actually one of those rare moments that a game studio actually admits that they were wrong and they actually did mess up. So I'm looking at you, Bethesda. You never apologized for Fallout 76. Did they actually apologize for Fallout 76? I don't know. Anyways, most studios tend not to apologize and just move on with their lives. But kudos for Projekt Red for acknowledging that they actually effed up during the launch of Cyberpunk 2077. And moving on to story number 2, we can see that it is somewhat official that Sony is reportedly pulling back from bringing PlayStation exclusive single-player games to PC. And on top of that, PlayStation leadership has basically hinted that future exclusives might stay locked to the PlayStation consoles for even longer. Honestly, I don't know what to think about this news. I'm guessing, games actually sell consoles, so it is kind of a financial thing that makes sense for them. And yeah, it's honestly sad, but even if they do this, I am not going to buy a PlayStation. So I'm guessing maybe rent a PlayStation to play certain games. But even so, there's a lot of games in existence, so I don't really need to actually rent a PlayStation. What am I even saying? Let's go on to story number 3, where we can see that the release of Forza Horizon 6 has exploded in popularity, as over at Steam they had, on launch day, 270,000 concurrent players, and the numbers are actually rising. So the game seems to be an overall huge success, and kudos to Xbox and what are they called? Playground Studios. Yes, Playground Studios. Kudos to Playground Studios for releasing. Kudos to them, and hopefully they release more good games like Forza Horizon 6. Games that are actually polished on release and don't have a myriad of issues. So kudos to them. Kudos to Xbox. And speaking of Xbox, they did ask for some feedback regarding their overall platform direction. And the responses were quite, let's just say they were not exactly friendly. Now, a lot of the feedback was centered around exclusives and what the brand Xbox actually stands for. So, a lot of the diehard Xbox fans were, questioning, like, what is Xbox? Because, last year they came out with this slogan that everything can be an Xbox. So a lot of people are kind of like, why buy an Xbox in the first place? So I can definitely see why fans want a return to exclusives. Because, looking earlier at the PlayStation story, as you can see, for them, they do understand that, games do actually sell consoles. So probably Xbox might listen to their fans and actually, lock some exclusives behind Xbox and maybe not release them to other platforms. I'm not sure. Anyways, let's move on to our next story of the day. And in more news, Discord has finally introduced end-to-end encryption for voice and video calls. Now, this is basically a technology that means that your end-to-end calls are encrypted and basically not easy to intercept or even access. And honestly, this is one of those updates that should have been probably in existence on Discord, because I mean Discord has been there for quite a while now. It is kind of surprising that they did not have end-to-end, encryption for a communication app that has been the default for gamers for a while. So I don't know what Discord they're doing, or what is happening over at Discord, but well, I guess as they say, better late than never. And for our final story of the day, we can see that the gaming industry conversations are still going around about the rising costs and exclusivity changes and of course future hardware. And honestly, where we at right now is kind of interesting and challenging, and all of these things mixed into one, because AI has been gobbling up a lot of the hardware. So it is expensive to own a console right now. It is expensive to own a PC. The RAM, like DDR5 RAM, is absolutely crazy. So yeah, it is interesting times, I guess. And I don't know, what will this kind of market conditions affect the release of GTA 6? I'm kind of curious. I don't know about you, but it might actually affect the release of GTA 6. But anyways, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this with your fellow gamers, your setup builders, your Discord degenerates, and anyone who still believes that GTA 6 is going to save their lives. Yes, I'm talking to you, GTA 6 aficionados. And of course, be sure to check out watugaming.site, and I will catch you in the next episode of WWG News.